mono screen color. It's kind of weird, hey?
It is
The
good.
color is gone.
It is
Does anybody know a Huawei? Can you change the display on a Huawei? I can't remember which Huawei I've got. It's almost 2 years old. To monochrome, to black and white. I found a place where I can change it to cold or warm colors, but not black or white. Let me know, please. Having done that, let's say Mr. Wayne Turner, who many people know and love dearly, who's been a part of CCFM for many, many years, and has actually quite a while ago shared his personal testimony. We've asked him to come back to share because fairly recently your mom died.
Correct.
Talk to us a little bit about that and talk about the story of hope that is behind that.
Right. Well, the story of hope is simple. She's gone to heaven. She was 82
story.
years old.
82.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
And she had prayed, God, take me quickly, so I'm not a burden on my family. And it was quick. When she hit the floor, she was almost gone, and the brainstem bleed. It just kept her alive for 12 hours. So Victoria's very happy, sad, amazing memorial service. Ended in stand-up comedy with one of my twins telling the funny stories. So it was very, very different.
Wow.
And it definitely was a celebration of hope. But I wanted to sort of turn the tables a bit on you guys.
Please do.
And this is a story of hope. And I just want to tell some of her CCFM story, which is before going on air, we chatted a little bit earlier. But she was your classic CCFM older widow state pensioner listener who depended on CCFM for her friends, for her company, and she was in a loving family, but it was still, she was a widow of 12 years.
Sure.
And you guys, when I say you guys, at this moment it's Megan and you, Jonathan, you guys are the connection that people establish, how can I put it, a very live connection, not only to God but to other people. And you are the friends of so many people. I've seen it in the past. I mean, she sent her 50 Rand every month.
Sure.
Sent me up here to pay it in at reception. She was one of at the Sherathon,
Yeah.
and she got so much of inspiration, her friendship. I mean, she knew who the different people. I'd come and say, so and so's having a baby. Oh, I know. I listened to her there.
Yeah.
And it was quite amusing. She had an iPhone. She was a digital granny. She was always on WhatsApp, sent her video clips and her pictures. Typical spiritual spammer. And, clogged the internet with all these nice little pictures and stuff. How it goes.
Bible verses.
And little jumping gifs and things like
yes.
that. Yeah. But the funny thing was, she wore it around her neck in a special little pouch. You could always tell where Granny was in the house because their CCFM was playing. She knew how to go into TuneIn Radio, an app on her iPhone, and she'd play CCFM all the time until the battery ran down. Then she'd put it next to bed and she'd recharge it, and then she'd lie there and listen to it while it was recharging.
Wow.
And for me, that is such a story of hope. The hope that this program, particularly this slot called Story of Hope, is what brings people hope. I know you get people to tell their stories of hope, but the show itself, the bigger program and other programs, are what brings hope to a lot of people. When you're alone, I remember when Helga van Niekerk and I did the Rise and Shine show together, and we had hear of a granny who was always SMSing in and contacting us. We went to see her in, I think it was in Deep River somewhere, a single little room, all her stuff, and we looked at this and we thought, to us, what a hopeless situation. And that's what often happens, is that people are in hopeless situations. What is the antidote for a hopeless situation? Hope. And it's that hope. And we sat there, two of us, and we chatted to this elderly lady, and she just enjoyed it so much that two people who were, in their eyes, celebrities, people who were the people on the radio, came and took the time to sit down and talk. Now that's an extreme case, and it's not possible to
do that every time.
Absolutely. It was Helga's ministry, so she made a point of it in her spare time to do that. But the thing was, it was just an illustration of just how a radio show or radio shows can be the antidote to the person who's sitting in that sad, hopeless situation. All of a sudden, bubbly Megan and old Jonathan with his sick jokes comes on and causes...
They're called dad jokes.
Absolutely. And causes people to laugh and all of a sudden realize what it's all about. And then you bring a program on that even zooms in closer, like Stories of Hope. And the person sits there and listens, and when they compare their situation with situations of others, that gives them hope to say, well, I'm not actually in as dire a situation. I do have my room, it doesn't leak, I have my meals, I do have someone who comes and visits me, not maybe as often as they should, but my situation is not hopeless. And I think that's one of the big things.
Sure.
And seeing an elderly person who, as she got older, and I just took it, well, she listens to CCFM because her son's been there for so many years.
Yeah.
But that's not, she didn't listen to support me. She didn't send her state pension money in because she supported me. She listened because she was a listener who was not only entertained, but also received friendship because, I mean, as you know, we are taught in broadcasting to talk to one listener and be personal, like they, not you out there, but to talk to that person. And when you're on the other side, you guys don't experience it, but when you're on the other side of the radio and you sit there listening, and these people, you feel, oh, Odile really cares for me. She just said, and people personalize that message for themselves. And I think that's what is where the hope is.
Yeah.
That's where the hope that comes across to people, I mean, it's a tangible, physical thing that comes across the airwaves. And I don't think you guys actually realize it, not being listeners, but being the people who are creating the content and being the friend to the people, just how, firstly, critical it is to people. You save lives all the time. Not Jesus. You save lives all the time, literally, from people who would be totally hopeless and would stop eating or take their own life or do something stupid. You know, that's the physical side. I'm not talking the spiritual side. And we will never know until one day in the future, in eternity, what the actual impact was. But my story of hope is that hope comes through this radio station, through these programs, and I physically saw it, and not me experience, I've experienced it through my mom, who was a person who lived for her radio CCFM, and oh my word, heaven help you guys if the stream went down. She'd come to me, this is not working, and I'd quickly go check, and I'd go online and see if the stream was working on the website, and I'd come and say, Ma, just hold on, I know they're trying to sort this out, it's a technical issue. But she's very antsy, sort of, when's it coming back on again? When's it coming on again? Because of the fact of the importance it is in the lives of many, many people. So I want to encourage people.
Yeah.
Sure, Wayne. It's so beautiful to hear you come, be on the other end of your mom's passing, and to sound hopeful, like you're talking about hope, and to sound encouraged and almost full of strength. How did you process the passing of your mom to be in this place? Because I know that there are listeners who have lost someone.
Hours and hours of crying.
Yeah.
Snot and trane and deep. I mean, she left such a big void because I did her meds every morning. I made her breakfast. Our whole lives were around where we could go out and what we could. She wasn't disabled or anything like that, but she was
frail.
To a certain degree. Yeah,
to a certain degree. Yeah.
And she'd been in hospital 6 months ago, couldn't speak, but that was linked to something else. And they told her she'd die of a stroke one day, 10 days or 10 years. So I knew it was a possibility. Look, I had to process the trauma of finding her in a terrible condition on the floor when I got home from work. I mean,
that's
it was very, very bad. You don't believe how a person looks when they're in a situation like that, major stroke. So my emergency paramedic background and I've seen many terrible sights, horrific sights. But this was my mother. Fortunately, I was able to kick into an emergency mode, but once she had died, I had to process the trauma of that. But there's no, I cry when I'm sad. I get home from our radio show. We talked about mothers with Dr. Bueller for a whole hour 2 weeks ago, and we laughed and we joked. And I said I'll probably walk in the door and burst into tears. I thought, well, I'm not. I did, because all of a sudden there was the memory that she used to come to me after the show, about 7:15 at home. I really enjoyed that and talk about it, and it's those little moments of missing but besides that, she's with my dad's in heaven, and you know, it's hope. I mean, there's nothing tragic about it. Let's put it that way. There's a big gap left behind, and there are many tears. Sunday before last was the worst. It was like tsunami waves of grief, but you just ride with it. The best way to when the wave hits you is to ride with the wave. If you stand up, you get knocked down, and it's a good thing to grieve, and God's done that. And then 5 minutes after, I just don't have any tears. I can't just keep on grieving, because that moment of grief for a particular missing goes, and you know, you pick yourself up and it's fine. I don't have an ounce of sadness in me talking about it now, but I'll get home and I have to go to a room to get something and something will hit me and I'll cry like a baby. But that's good. God designed us to grieve.
That's so good.
That's so helpful. Wayne, would you end off with a prayer? Because I know that there's some people that maybe feel like they couldn't grieve because they had to keep it together for a young child or another person in the family.
You have to take time to grieve. If it builds up, it's going to come. The dam is going to break at some stage. You know, Lord Jesus, thank you that death and life are the same. There's no end. Eternity starts when you allow us to be born. For us, that's when it starts, and we will live on. And that there's no sting anymore. It's pretty painful. There's lots of crying and tears, but Lord, the many people that are in that situation where grief hits them, and I've experienced it, and we know that there is hope in a hopeless situation, and you know, we can't allow ourselves to stop life just because something has happened and we've lost a loved one. So Lord Jesus, we ask for you to be the eternal comforter to those who have experienced something similar to this, but also to know there's hope and there is victory and there is a lot of joy despite the sadness. Pray this in Jesus' name.
Sure. Amen. Thank you so much, Wayne. And just again, a reminder to you, maybe you are struggling to process the grief. Maybe you're struggling and you just want somebody to pray with you. We have prayer friends standing by to take your call and to pray for you and to pray with you. All you need to do is pick up your phone and dial this number. It's 021 788 3340. That's 021 788 3340. And somebody will pray with you. Alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message or an SMS message, or even use Telegram to send us your prayer requests. The number to send it to is 061 798 1075. 061 798 1075. Wayne, thank you so much, brother.
My pleasure.
God bless you, hey?
God's wind blows, it's a perfect